Hello, aloha, and welcome to another episode of Touchful Podcast, to a brand new season of Touchful Podcast, Season 5. You won't believe what just happened. I recorded such a beautiful episode for you, straight from my heart. I was so much in the zone. And then I just realized that it didn't record. And these are the moments in our lives that create greatness. This was the moment when I could feel all the frustration and I could feel like, oh, whatever, if it didn't work with the stupid new microphone that I spent so much money on and it doesn't even record, then I'm just gonna skip it and not do it. And there was a time in my life when I would react like this. But today, I choose differently. I am in the zone. I choose how I'm going to feel about it, and I'm going to apply one of my most favorite mantras for moments like this. And that mantra is, that's even better. That's even better. I was talking for 25 minutes and none of it got recorded. That's even better. Why? I have no idea why, but that's even better. I choose to believe that that's even better. And I'm going to allow myself to feel sad and frustrated about it and irritated and angry. And then I'm going to let it go and pick up that phone, unplug that stupid microphone that is not working, and start over. Because that's my choice. Because that's what I want to do. Because I want to deliver this beautiful episode for me, for you, for everybody who listens. And it will be even better. It will be even better than the one that I just was trying to record and it didn't work. It will be even better. I'm sure of it. So hello, aloha, and welcome. If you are here for the first time, I want to introduce myself. My name is Magdalena. I am a practitioner and teacher of Hawaiian Lomi Lomi massage. I am a mentor, I am a poet and an artist. I am Polish and I live in Iceland. And it's wonderful to have you here for the first time. And if you are a regular listener and you come back, I want to say hello and welcome again. It's so wonderful to know and to feel that you are here again. I want to have this episode today as a start of a whole new season of Touchful Podcast, Season 5. And I want to do two things. First of all, I want to give you a little bit of background about what happened in my life in the last few months. And one of the results of what happened was that I stopped doing Touchful Podcasts. I stopped recording. And then I would like to share with you one of my most favorite questions, a question that I keep asking myself every day, a question that really touches me and transforms me, a question that is one of the most important questions to ask. So that's the plan for today. Let's go. First of all, I want to share a little bit of a story with you. So at the beginning of last season, the season 4, which was the season of intimacy, one of my, I think, most favorite seasons of creating Touchful Podcasts. There was so much beauty and so much connection, and I just loved making each and every episode. And at the beginning of that season, I told you that I would show up every Monday with a new episode for about 11 weeks, like with every season that I created. And it worked. Until it didn't anymore. Something happened in my life which I didn't understand at that time, but I understand it better now. And one of the results of that was that I stopped recording. I was just unable to record a new episode for you, no matter how I tried. And from the perspective of time, I really know and feel and understand that what happened was really like a quantum leap. I jumped in my reality. I changed so much, and reality around me changed so much that suddenly the things that I was doing and the way that I was doing these things didn't feel right anymore, didn't feel aligned anymore. And it started to happen around August, September, October last year. There was a huge time of changes for me as a person, for me as a Lomi Lomi teacher, for me as a woman, for me as a human being. And that was also a time when I had quite a few Lomi Lomi trainings, both individual and group trainings. And these are always the moments of my life that change me the most. Each training that I have changes not just the people who take part in this training, but each training really quantum leaps me to a new level of being a teacher, being a mentor, being a practitioner of Lomi, being a human. And I had quite a few of these in a very short time. And after that, I really was unable to continue with the Touchful podcast. So my first impression, my first understanding was that I just overworked myself. I just had too much work in a too short time, and now I feel a little bit uninspired. That's how it felt initially. But now, from a perspective of time, I really feel that it was not that. And I'm sharing this with you for two reasons. The reason number one is that if you are a regular listener, then I want you to understand and I want you to know what happened. But also, if you are a creator of some sort, if you put your work online in any way, shape, or form, maybe you are a podcaster, maybe you are a content creator, maybe you share things on social media, you have some sort of a platform, you share your voice with people, or it might not even be that. Maybe it's a completely offline thing that you do, but you share yourself somehow with the world. You use yourself as a vessel to share something with people. And it might happen that you feel that you hit a wall, that it feels like a burnout, or it feels like suddenly you have nothing to say. That's how it felt for me. Suddenly I felt like I had nothing to say. It's not even that I didn't have ideas. I always have ideas about what I want to talk about in the Touchful podcast. But suddenly it felt like it's not good enough, like it's not true enough, like I didn't even know what was going on. And I felt frustrated, and I felt that I didn't keep my promise. But I knew that was absolutely clear for me that I didn't want to record from that place. I didn't want to record from the place of I have to because I promised. And that is a huge thing that I want to touch upon in this episode. When you promise to do something and it comes from a super good aligned place. That's how it was for me at the beginning of last season of Touchful podcast. I promised myself, first and foremost, I gave a promise to myself and to all my listeners that I want to show up every Monday for 11 weeks and deliver the most beautiful, heartfelt, deep, transformational, life-changing episodes that I am able to create. And that felt super aligned when I was making that promise. And that felt like, oh my God, it's going to be a season of intimacy. I love it. It's going to be so deep. And then something changed on the way. Or not something changed, I changed. And there were many factors that contributed to that. Many things happened, mostly in my professional life, but also some of them in my private life, that ended up in me really shifting and changing. And suddenly, like I said, I felt like I quantum leaped. And when I landed, I was different. My way of thinking and seeing the world and understanding the world and feeling was a little bit different. And my reality around me, even though it was in a way the same, still living in the same house and everything, having the same job, it felt different. I was different. The reality was different. And yet what I was trying to do was to keep things like they were, do things the old way. And no wonder it didn't work. So if this resonates with you in any way, I want you to take time and be super radically honest with yourself. That maybe you feel different, something changed in you, something transformed in you, and you really feel different, and the reality around you feels different. The way you see the world feels different. Thoughts in your mind are different. The way you react to certain things is different, and yet you try to do the things the old way because you promised, because you said that you would deliver something in a particular way, even though it doesn't feel real anymore, because it's not real, because you are different and your reality is different. And that is a huge and difficult moment when I had to choose, like, oh my God, I am breaking a promise that I gave to myself, a promise that I gave to these amazing, wonderful, beautiful people who are my audience. And that didn't feel right. But you know what felt even less right? To try to do things from a disconnected place, from a misaligned place. So again, if this resonates with you, take a moment to be honest with yourself, just with yourself. You don't need to share it with anybody else. Where in your life is an area, something that you try to do because you were doing it like this, but now you're different and it just doesn't feel good anymore. And guess what? It shouldn't feel good. That is the sign that we are, not on the right path. When it doesn't feel true, when it doesn't feel deeply in your heart, doesn't feel true. So what I did with the Touchful podcast is I stopped, because I didn't want to show up from the place that didn't feel super true for me. And I didn't want to show up from the place that was frustrated and scared and scattered and not sure what was going on and how do I want to continue, and even if I want to continue at all. So I took time. I took a blessing of time. And to be honest, I was not expecting for this to take so much time, to be able to come here again today like I come, feeling aligned, feeling excited, feeling so grateful that I can do what I do, that my life looks like it looks, that I can create Touchful podcast for me and for you. I thought it would take a couple of weeks. It ended up taking a couple of months. And with some things in our life, when we land in a new reality and we are new, some things in our lives, they just go forever. They just never, we never come back to something because it just feels so much out of alignment. And I knew since the beginning that Touchful podcast was not going to be like this, that I will come back to recording, but I need a moment. So remember, please, for all things holy, to give yourself time when you need it. You have time. And it's better to take time and to recalibrate. I really like this word recently, recalibrate, than to continue living your life and creating, feeling a little bit off, just a couple millimeters off, or sometimes a few meters off. I am a huge fan and advocate of truth, standing in truth, standing in alignment. And sometimes, or always, the first step is to see and feel where I am out of alignment, and I don't want to live my life from not aligned place. And then when I gave myself that permission, out of a sudden, it turned out that today is the day that I made a choice, a decision, a feeling that today is the day when I'm taking that phone and I'm recording again. And even if it didn't work for the first time, even if I spent 25 minutes talking to you from the depth of my heart and none of it got recorded. It's okay. That's even better, because I do it for me. I do it for my beautiful, aligned, joyous, fulfilled life. And for all of you who want to benefit from that. Because guess what? There will be people who will benefit from your life being an aligned life, from you living from a true place, having conversations from a true place, showing up daily from a true place. People will feel it and they will benefit from it without even being aware of it sometimes. And the second thing that I want to deliver is this one question that I promised to you at the beginning of this episode, the question that is life-changing, transformational, eye-opening, the question that I love to ask myself and I like to talk with people about it, the question that is a big one, a huge one, a difficult one sometimes to face, and also the question that is quite a popular one. So I think that you might have heard this question before. It's quite a popular coaching question, I would say. And it might even be a question that made you roll your eyes when you heard it for the first time, or where maybe you will hear it now and you will just roll your eyes and you will be like, oh, please come on. And if you do, then I was doing the same. I really didn't like this question. I was like, oh, come on. But it changed my life once I started to ask myself this question daily and really listen to the answers coming from beyond my mind, coming from my heart, coming from alignment. And right now, probably you're like, okay, Magdalena, just give me the question. And the question is simple. If you could do anything in this life, if you could have any kind of life that you would love to have, if you knew that whatever you choose to do, it would be a success, what would you like to do with your life in this time that you are given here on this earth? And this question is so huge. Allow this to touch you and allow this to transform you. And even if you have heard this question before, and even if you answered before, go deeper. There is no end to how deep we can go feeling the answers, finding the answers to this question. You can journal on it. You can record yourself. That's a beautiful practice of self-discovery, speaking to yourself and recording yourself and then listening to it. That's huge. That's powerful. But give yourself a chance to take time to feel the answers, to find the answers. Even if you feel that you know the answer, still give yourself time. Journal on it. Talk to people about it. Record yourself. Don't do it just in your mind, but let the answer come out somehow, either in the form of your voice or in a form of writing. If I could have any kind of life that I can think of, and live this life till the end of my days, what would I like to create? How would I like to live my life? And there are many versions of that question. You can ask yourself, if I could master any kind of skill in this life, if I could be a master of something and spend my life doing this, what would I like to be doing? What would I like to master? Another version of this question is, if money was not an issue, if I didn't have to work for money, what would I like to do? How would I like to live my life? After I took all the vacations and all the travels and I still have 50 years of my life and I don't need to think about money. I can do whatever I want, wherever I want. How would I like to live my life? How would I like to create my days? Where would I like to wake up? With whom? How would I like to spend my days? How would I like to contribute to this world? What would I like to do for myself, for other people, for the planet? Truly, deeply. And go deep. That's the trick. Go beyond the layer of your mind. Initially, when I was working a lot with that question and all the versions of that question, I was working a lot with this realm of probability. The answers that were coming were these very well thought answers coming from my mind based on the assumption that, yeah, I would like to have this because that feels like something that I could have, especially if I work hard enough. Catch yourself in these moments and just throw these answers to the garbage and go beyond the realm of probability. If you could truly, really deeply live the life of your dreams, what would it be? What would be the life of your dreams? My belief is that we as humans, we really deserve to have the life of our dreams, to wake up in beauty, to wake up feeling grateful for the life that we have and for everything that we have yet to create and share and contribute to the world. But first of all, we need to know what this is. So take your time, and I promise you that if you really allow yourself to go deep and ask yourself more than once, you'll be surprised with the changes that will start to happen internally in you first. And also allow yourself to go through all kinds of emotions. Because the truth is that this question can awaken all kinds of emotions. Once you start dreaming and desiring, you might feel inspired and grateful and joyous and excited and like, oh my God. But you might also feel frustrated, disappointed, bitter, fearful, doubtful. That might also happen. These are just emotions for us to take care of. Do that and see what happens. And I want to give you yet another version of this question. One of my favorite ways to work with that concept of infinite possibility. If I could be anybody, who would I like to be? What kind of person I would like to be? How would I like to show up in my family? What kind of daughter, what kind of sister, what kind of partner I would like to be? What kind of coworker I would like to be? What kind of boss I would like to be? How would I like to show up for my health? What kind of habits I would like to have? How would I like to show up in conflicts? How would I like to resolve conflicts? How would I like to handle money? How would I like to look? How would I like to dress? What would I like to eat? What kind of person I would like to be when people meet me, when they see me, when they talk to me? What would I like these people to feel about me? Or, yet another version, when I'm gone, how would I like people to talk about me at my funeral? How would I like people to remember me? How would I like my grandchildren and great-grandchildren to remember me when I'm gone? What kind of legacy I would like to leave in this world? What would I like to be remembered for? Super powerful questions to ask. And ask yourself over and over again. The point of this work is not to do it once and for good and you have all your answers on paper and you're done. The point of it is to ask yourself again and again and again, because you change and your answers might change. Or you might realize that that answer that you gave yourself yesterday was it was not 100% true. You were just a few millimeters off. That was not really truly what you meant. But when you go deeper, you realize truly, deeply, if anything was possible for me, if I could be the person that I really want to be, do what I really want to do, contribute to this world in a way that I really want to contribute, this is what I would like to do. And then also, this might feel like super true and 100% aligned, and yet it might change in half a year. And that's also okay, because you are a piece of art, an ongoing project. And the whole point is to get to know yourself. And the whole point of this exercise is to get the energy moving and let yourself have dreams, desires, visions, and a belief that you can have a good life, that you can have a great life. One of my discoveries when I started to do that exercise was that initially my answers were outdated. They were the answers that the Magdalena from a year ago would give. Kind of like almost, going on autopilot. Yeah, I want this and this and this and this. And now, when I take time to actually really feel what my truth is, I'm surprised because I'm like, yeah, I still want this, but a little different, and truly, deeply, I want this. And trust me, when you know, you know. When you nail it, when you find the deepest truth, the deepest answer, like the God voice speaking to you, through you, you will feel it, you will know it. It's this feeling of like, oh my God, yes, this is it. I have no idea how, I have no idea if this is even possible for me, but this is true for me. And just this feeling will transform you, will move things in you. It's not the point that I discovered it and now I need to completely change my life immediately, starting tomorrow. It's not about that. It's about first connecting yourself to this very idea that this is my truth, this is my dream, this is who I want to become, this is my greatness, this is how I want to live, this is the legacy that I want to leave. Allow this to touch you and to transform you, because it will. And I am going to talk to you sometime soon again in the Touchful podcast. Thank you so much for today. Aloha, and until next time.